Jeff Freeman is next. On deck, Jonathan Scoville.
I'd like to ask as well, if any of you are elected, what would be your top priority to get done your very first term, your very first day?
Sorry, just begin.
I think the priority issue for us in Congress should be the unemployment situation we're facing. And one of the problems we have in West Virginia is the challenge that the EPA is doing to our coal mining industry. It is stifling our ability to create jobs, and it's the backbone of our state is the coal industry. When it generates 25% of all the revenue we have to run state government comes from the coal industry, and the EPA needs to be reined in. We have to get rid of these czars that are out there. There's nothing in the Constitution that provides for that. We have to have. We cannot allow the regulatory bodies to affect what Obama can't get through Congress. He's now achieving through the regulatory bodies. We've got to rein them in and make them responsive to the people that are elected, not by exception.
Unfortunately, the way Obamacare is going, it looks as though it might pass. So that's probably the first thing that I would want to do, is to try and overturn some of these things that Obama is going to put through. Obamacare first, because that's his major platform.
There are two things. The Clean Air Act that was instituted in 1970 needs to be amended, and the basic elements of life, including carbon dioxide, needs to be removed as a regulated gas. It's ridiculous that that's toxin. That's what we breathe out, and that's what creates all the green around us. So that needs to be eliminated. The other thing I would work on would be fair tax. We need a more regular way of taxing fairly. And it seems to me that we should be taxing what we consume, not what we are producing.
This whole election is about jobs, jobs, jobs. We simply have to put people back to work. How do you do that in West Virginia? You do it through an energy policy. We've been blessed with natural resources. We need to use those natural resources to put our people back to work, protect West Virginia jobs. When you do that, you also enter into another area, and that's energy independence for the United States of America. It's absolutely absurd that we send our oil dollars over to Middle East regimes and then fund terrorist activities to fly airplanes into our buildings to build IEDs to try to kill my children in Afghanistan, your children in Iraq, and all the other places around the world. We need this. We are blessed abundantly in this country with natural resources. It's absolutely incredulous that we have not formed an energy independent policy for this country. We have oil off the coast. I understand Virginia's come up with legislation allowing them to dig off the coast, Prudhoe Bay in Alaska, the Gulf of Mexico. People can come from other countries and dig in the Gulf of Mexico, but we can't. Absolutely absurd, folks. So let's put people back to work.
Very simply, the quickest way to get people back to work is to take all of the uncertainty out of the business climate in this country, which is what's stopping everything right now. That's how I would do that. The first thing I would do is I would roll back the tax rates as an initial thing. I totally support the fair tax. I have since the day I walked into this race. However, that's going to take some time to implement. At least 6 months is what they say. You roll back the initial marginal tax rates and corporate tax rates down to where you're competitive with other countries, and you finance it by abolishing the EPA. Every state has one. There's no need for one at the federal level. And you put the control of the environment back in the hands of different states, because Kansas' environment is a whole lot different than West Virginia's, and the rules have to be made different to fit the situation. So that's the first thing that I would do.